Hi everyone, welcome to Day to Day Knits. This is episode 48. My name is Sara Coelho-Robinson and I live here in Tennessee with my dog Effie, who is just right there. And you might hear her paws every now and then. Maybe even see her if she decides to walk past this way. And my husband Joseph. Today I have one thing I'm wearing, two things that have been finalized, 3 whips, and then I guess things from 4 different stalls that I went and visited at the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival this weekend. I can start with this. My 30th birthday is in April, so I am going to have in my store on Ravelry all month long, all of April, 30% discount on every single pattern there. So before I forget, there it is, 30% off. What I am wearing today is one of my patterns. It's called the A Little Out of Sorts Socks. It's a long name. And it's basically a smaller version of the Out of Sorts socks. They go just somewhat above the ankle there. And they're a very easy colorwork pattern. If you've never done colorwork, but you've done socks before, then that could be a good pattern for you to try out. It is only 1x1 colorwork, so you don't have to carry any yarn in any specific way. This pattern I did using yarn that I was gifted, but it was like 10-gram minis. Now I am thinking about making another one using yarn that I was also gifted, but it's striped yarn. So I would not have to change out the colors. I would just use 2 colors throughout the sock. Yes, that might be, could that be my next sock? Maybe, we'll see. Yes, so that's what I'm wearing. Now for FOs, I'll start with a quick one. Held in here, you can guess what it is. I think it is, once again, socks. These are my Dreamy vanilla socks. And I have just this much left over. I think this I might consider as I've used the whole skein sort of thing. This is not 10 grams. This one is, I think, just about a 10 grams. So I know I could use it for something else. Or I could use it to make toes or ribbing, something like that. I'd probably use it for toes. And this is from the Yarnable box by Hypnotic Yarns from March 2021. And it's called Celtic Faerie. This one is a cloud worn that is no longer for sale, so I will not go into it. But they are both superwash with nylon. So that's what I have left. And these are just my go-to socks, sock pattern. We're in a different place of the house right now because when I got home, it was too warm. And being in the attic, I would have been really hot. So since it's a nice day and it's just Effie and I as of right now, I thought I would film down here. But the lighting might look a little strange and the sun sets back there. So we'll see how that's going to turn out. I think it will be fine. Yes, so that's one FO. The second FO is a cardigan. A cardigan you might have seen a few times now. It is My Coat of Many Colors, Xiao by Layla Young. And this is what it looks like on the inside. Now, the one alteration I did to this pattern was that I knitted the sleeves to be long. It is a very heavy pattern. It is, I think, without a doubt, the most expensive project I've ever done, because it is all super wash yarns, and it is all not cheap yarn, I guess, because it's considered indie dyed. I think all of it is considered indie dyed. So because it is so heavy, I have found that, and the first time I wore it, this was still wet, but it had been drying for so long, it was starting to smell like humidity, like as if you leave your clothes in the washer for too long. But the smell is gone now. But the first week I wore it, I kept being annoyed by the fact that it's so heavy that it starts like pulling away because of the weight of the sleeves and the weight of the body, and and then this happens where it just starts sliding down, right? So then I have to keep pulling it up. And so what I did was I ordered some frog closures. I think that's what they're called. They're like Norwegian closures. And I thought, I'll just put them over here. Like, I'll close it like that. But to do that, first I had to sew some ribbon. So I did that using a sewing machine, and I'll come closer. So you can see the white line, that's where I sewed. Now this is for hand sewing these guys. And now I can close it like this. Oops. And it will tend to not pull so much. And I can just, wear it like a normal person would wear a jacket instead of keep pulling it up like that. Yeah, I might keep this on actually. I'm feeling cozy. Yes, so these are the changes I did. Now, on the inside, I had a bunch of fringe. I don't know if you guys remembered, but what I did was I braided all of it, and then the extra parts, and I'll have to open this again. So I braided all the way to the top, and then I flipped it and I stuck it in between the bridges of the contrasting color yarn. So it won't go anywhere, it won't poke out, I didn't have to weave, it was great. Let's see, this one was the hardest, I don't know why. Okay, and the last one. Okay. Then I have 3 whips. One of the whips you are familiar with. It is what I call my Portuguese cardigan because all of the yarns are Portuguese. But this is really the Boho Mosaic cardigan by Irene. Yes, Irene. Boho style mosaic cardigan, that's what it is. Now, I have had a few issues with this cardigan. First, my first needle broke. It was a US number 2. It broke. So then I decided to try a Xiao interchangeable, but the kind that the cable rotates separately from the needles. And that was a mistake because the yarn kept getting stuck between the needles and the cable, and it was really annoying. So I threw it away because I don't see how anyone could ever use that. It's just truly, really, very much annoying. Then I found out that my gauge was just a little bit off. So I actually had to go up in needle size. And I went up in 2 needle sizes. I don't know what this one is. I guess it might be a 4 then. Made in Germany. Oh, no, that can't be right. No, this might be a US 7. I don't know. I went up in needle size. It's hard to read. It's on the cable's see-through. But these are quite large. These will not break. I hope. Yes, so then there's that. Then looking at the picture and of the pattern, the one that's like the cover of the pattern, and looking at this, like, even though I'm practically on gauge now, you can tell that this is happening much faster than what it seems to be like in the picture. So I wonder if the model is wearing a cardigan that is several sizes above her size, and that's truly, it is not supposed to fit that way unless, like, it's not supposed to fit like an oversized cardigan unless you try to make it fit that way. So I hope I don't get disappointed, because I really like the yarn. And I really like the picture of the cardigan, but I'm not sure if what I'm going to end up working on is going to look the same. I really hope I don't get disappointed. Now behold what appears to be brown, and this is Pegulhal. I've shown it before. I'm showing it once again to make a point after you see all of my whips. It appears to be brown, but it is more than just brown, right? It has all these other colors. So keep that in mind. Right now I am almost at the sleeve separation, so I might work on this tonight. I have to join some yarn because I finished the skeins, but I should do that soon, either tonight or maybe tomorrow night. I don't know, we'll see. Another project I have going on is another out of sorts sweater. This one I did a few alterations so far, but only in terms of colors. What colors am I using? I did a little detail at the beginning, at the cast on, with the Tang that is part of this cardigan. And that is looking like this. This made me think that I should really make a hat or something like a hat. Anyway, so I'm using that, and that's this edging here. And then the other alteration is that in the original pattern, I say use 6 contrast colors plus 1 main color. And for the main color in the original pattern, I use the same thing I'm using now, just a different colorway, which is a Zauberball 100. And in the main pattern, I suggest 6, oh, where's the other skein? It was right here. Oh, it rolled under the sofa. Okay. I suggested using 6 skeins of palette, and this time I've decided to just use 1 skein. And this one, pay attention to this color too, is Oregon Coastal Heather, I think. Oregon Coast Heather. Maybe it's not coastal, maybe it's coast. And it looks like a beige / brown, but it has much more than that going on. It has all these little hints of like blue and red in it, and pink and orange. It's really beautiful. And then another change I'm going to do is this pattern, the Out of Sorts sweater, uses spreadsheets. Ah, there's the sun. The setting sun. Now I'm blind. I forget what I was saying. Right, spreadsheets. It uses spreadsheets. So what that means is that besides the PDF, you get a spreadsheet document where you put in your body dimensions, and it will spit out how many stitches you cast on, how many stitches you decrease and when, how frequently, etc. or increase. And for that pattern, I have designed the body and the sleeves to basically scrunch up right before the ribbing. So right as you get to the ribbing, that's when you do all of your decreases for the sleeves, all of your decreases for the waist. So what I did this time was I made a copy of that spreadsheet, like I suggest for everyone to do. So you can like make your own changes, add your own dimensions, etc. And then I actually put in new math to change the pattern just for myself to have slow decreases on the sleeve and on the body, so it is overall more fitted. Like it's a perfect fit for the design that it is, but I wanted something that was just had less positive ease in the arms and in the body, and it starts and ends with the same number of stitches, but it just decreases at a different rate. That's really the only difference. And instead of decreasing everything at the wrist or at the belly right before the ribbing, I do periodic decreases both on the sleeves and on the body. So I am now at a point where I split for my sleeves. I need to add a couple of dimensions and then I'll be able to start on that. But between all three projects I have going on, I've decided to first work on the body for all of them, then work on the sleeves for all of them, etc. So I'm at the point where I split for the sleeves. I'm not there yet with all other projects. So I'm going to do that in the other projects to then pick this one back up. And it's for no other reason other than just creating some variation for myself and not leaving a pattern behind. Like if I just get annoyed with something, I'll take a break from it, but then I will come back to it. And that's where we are with this guy. Now, the last one that I have is vest number 1 by My Favorite Things. The yarn is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted and cilantro heather. So let's take a look at that yarn. It's green, right? But it's green with a touch of brown, a golden brown. And basically this is, I think, what connects, other than they're all different types of sweaters, a sweater vest, a cardigan, a pullover, they're all sweaters, but they also all have a solid color, but really they're all just heathers. They're beautiful heathers. I don't like working in solids. I like it when they have a little variation, like something intriguing that makes me want to just look at it for longer instead of being like, oh, it's a minty blue, or oh, it's I don't know, strawberry red or whatever. I'm like, oh, it's green, but it looks like it has a little brown. Is this gold? What is this? I like that. I have fun with that. So where I am right now is that I have the back and I have most of the front before I joined for the body. So I'm almost there. It's exciting. I have both used this yarn before in another one of my projects, actually, in the Mosaic cardigan and in the Christmas morning vest, but not yet with this pattern specifically. I have, however, used this pattern before and I liked it. I think this time I'll just try to make it longer. I'll use up all of my yarn, I think. I'll keep knitting until I basically think I'm going to be running out of yarn. I think that's what the plan is going to be. Because last time, and this, it says this in the project, in the pattern, it says that the vest has a loose fit, like a positive ease, but it is somewhat cropped. And the last one that I did was in fact that way. And looking back at pictures before it went into the washer and became something this size, I feel like I should have knitted a little longer. So that's what I'm going to do this time if I have enough yarn. I'm just going to keep on knitting. And I think I'll have enough yarn because you might remember at some point I bought a single skein just to get a little more yarn. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to be working tonight, and then if I am able to join for the body, I will then keep going on that cardigan, the other cardigan. Now, oh my gosh, this podcast, I don't know why, but my English podcasts are so much faster than my Portuguese ones. I think I talk about the same things, but somehow it's always 10 minutes faster. Anyway, I went to the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival. It was mostly like alpaca farms and makers from this area, Middle Tennessee. And it was lots of fun. I will go again. I hope I am able to make it next year. And I bought a few things there. Some are over here, some are in front of me. So I'm just gonna start with what I have in front of me. Basically, I went to four and a half different stalls. One of them I went and my mother-in-law got me something. But it's a surprise and I don't have it with me. So I'm not going to talk about that. But I'll talk about what I do have here with me. This is what is called a bird knot cage filled with 100% alpaca fleece for happy birds. This is set up by Twisted Luxury, which is a local farm in Jacke, Tennessee. You can go to their website, which is pleasantjourneyalpacas.com. They also have their email and their phone number right here. Susan and Glenn, I want to say Cax, but I really don't know how to pronounce this last name. But I'm going to see if it focuses on the card. Okay, so basically this is a cage that you can attach on a tree or whatever. And it is just filled with fleece so that the birds can go and pick some fleece out and use it for their nests. And I thought that was a really cute idea. Plus, I could buy fleece at some other point in the future and just fill it back up. So that was one. And now from the same farm, I bought one skein. And this is a beautiful hand-spun skein. And apparently, they won a blue ribbon, so that means first prize for, I want to say best skein, but I don't know if there were actually different categories. And I was not there when that happened. I just know it had the ribbon when I was looking at it. So hand spun yarn, 199 yards, 4.2 ounces, 85% alpaca, 50% white silk. And this is just so squishy and bouncy. And it makes me think of old-timey dolls that had really dense curly hair that you squeeze and it just wants to bounce back into their shape. And it's beautiful, beautiful brown. Again, with a little hint of something white, and that would be the silk, I think. It's not focusing fair. Oh, there we go. Beautiful, isn't it? It is beautiful. And so soft. This is just so nice. I'm just so happy with my purchase. Then there's this other one, and this one doesn't actually have a tag saying where it's from. It just has a tag that says that it's 200 yards, it's 2-ply, and it's mostly alpaca, mohair, and silk. But it doesn't tell me percentages. Of course, you can't see it. There we go. But that's it. So I would not be able to buy this again unless I go to the stall and I recognize the lady. And this is not even from that lady. This is just from a friend of hers that had some stuff in her booth so that they could be sold. But it's, again, a beautiful denim blue. Still a very curly yarn. It might be hand spun as well. And it's beautiful. And these two, my intention is to knit a shawl. A really, really, really basic shawl. With both of these yarns and that mustard yellow that I got for Christmas from one of my friends from Portugal. So this will be like the shawl that is the furthest away from commercial yarn as one can be, as it is all hand spun or from small farms, and it's nice to, when one can, support other people and their dreams, and especially when it's something that's so low impact, you know, on the world. But yeah, good stuff. Anyway, I have just two more things. They're not yarn. One of them, this will be the easiest. I met a second generation Portuguese, and there, actually it was the first booth I went to, and she was selling embroidery things. So I got these flowers. You might remember that when I worked on the vest with a little bunny embroidery, I told you I used a paper that dissolves in water, but it really acted as if it were paper. I had to perforate it and draw on it before being able to sew on it or do embroidery on it. But this one is supposed to behave more like a fabric, and it will still dissolve in water, but it is supposed to be much easier to deal with. So I'm excited to try this. And for that, I bought these threads. Oh, and there's the name right here. Oops. Okay. And then just one last thing. I went my mother-in-law and I were walking into this, and her name is Victoria Coelho. Well, yeah, Victoria in English. So anyway, we were going to this other booth or different building, and the booth that was right by the entrance of the building just had a ton of buttons, like so many buttons. And we just get there and we go, wow, that's a lot of buttons. And at first I thought, I'm not gonna get myself buttons. Generally speaking, I don't even like buttons. I really dislike plastic buttons. I always have. Other kids would have blouses with cutesy like strawberry buttons or ladybug buttons or whatever. And I just hated buttons. I don't know why. It's the touching of the plastic. I don't know. I don't like it. So I thought, I'm not gonna get any buttons. I don't like buttons. I don't need buttons. If I want buttons, I'll make them myself. How? By using pottery, I'm thinking. But my mother-in-law was fascinated by all the buttons. So we spent a few minutes there and we go past all of this, like these plastic buttons or celluloid buttons or glass buttons. And then we get to some materials I can get behind. And so I ended up buying some wood buttons and some mother of pearl buttons. So I got 2 strips of these. They look like leather, but they're actually wood. I don't know if this is focusing. I have no idea if this is focusing. I hope it did. Then apparently I got 5 of these, but I really thought I had 6. These are just wood buttons with 2 holes down the middle. Good for big yarn projects. Then I bought this 1 strip of 8 buttons. They're tiny and beautiful. And these are mother of pearl. I think that's how you say that. Gorgeous. And I wish I had that lady's card, but it just came in this box and I don't have a receipt. So I don't have her information, but hopefully she'll come back another year and I'll buy some more buttons. This one's also a pearl button. It fastens. It has a hole right down the middle. You won't be able to see it, I don't think. Ah, there it is. Okay. And it is flat looking, as you can see, but it feels with the light, the way the light plays on it, it feels like it's either convex or like a spoon. I don't know what the words are. Yes, and I'm really excited. I already know, like I have an idea of what I would like to knit and add these buttons to. But I don't have any of the yarn that I would actually require for the projects that I have in mind. So maybe it will be a next year sort of project. We'll see. I hope that you've enjoyed this podcast. I've had fun. I hope you did too. As you can see, lots of progress in the last 3 weeks. But I feel like in the next maybe couple of months, it will be just more of the same, like more work on the same type of projects. I would like to work on some summer projects, something with summer yarns. I am considering frogging a few items. I don't need to just yet, but I am considering doing that. And just reusing that yarn for something else. But we'll see. I have a few things I could work on. Anyway, I do not have a lot of summer yarns, like vegetable fiber yarns, wool-free yarns, alpaca-free yarns. So we'll see what I end up working on in the summer. But we're still in March, so that's still a long way ahead. It's just that we've been having some really cold days and some really hot days. And in the really hot days, I'm starting to struggle to knit during the day. Like, I'll knit at night, but it's just so hot. Anyway, it's not summer yet, so maybe it will be fine. All right, I will finish this up. I hope you guys have a good Easter. If this video comes before Easter, which I hope it will, but we will see. My classes are starting tomorrow. And again, just a reminder for the 30% discount. Yeah, I really appreciate you all. The likes and the comments and the support. Yeah. All right, I'll let you go. Bye.